everything over here for us. Let me see where I can put you to see you better. How are you guys doing? You ready to make some food? Okay, let's see. Can you see right there? Maybe if I go a little bit. Okay, here we go. So basically what we're going to do is caramelize this onion. And I'm just going to peel off the skin really quick. This is kind of a faster way to do it for me. I don't know why I did it this way. Actually, I'm lying. Here we go. Okay, let me get all the skin off. We're going to chop up the whole onion. That was a jacked up way to do this. I have no idea why I did that. Okay, here we go. By the way, while I was at Target earlier, if any of you are interested, I've washed my hands like 20 times and you can still see all of the color stains on here. That was all Anastasia, as well as the Kat Von D. Look how well that stuff stayed on there. I've washed my hands like 20 times, you guys. Okay. So I would definitely say that is some color staying action lipstick if you need some. I don't think you're going to be getting it off anytime. Okay. And it really doesn't matter how much you chop these up, obviously, because once you caramelize them, they're just going to all fall apart anyways. And I'm going to start crying. Oh my gosh, this is a really strong onion. It's supposed to be a sweet onion. Okay. Here we go. That's the way you peel an onion, Summer. But not the way you chop it. Okay, there we are. And what's so nice about this is it has so much water in it. And it's really hard to find food that has a lot of fiber as well as a lot of protein and the good carbohydrates. That's what's going to keep you full. So our lunch has now turned into dinner, guys. Okay. I'm going to pick you up now. Hi. All right. Come with me over here. We're going to keep cooking. So here is a little trick. You get the cheap foil. I hate cleaning. And you're going to surround your pot with the foil. Do you see that? And then that way, it's like splash proof. So any oil or like sauce that wants to splatter out falls on your foil. You just roll it up and throw it away. And we're just going to put a little bit of vegetable oil into a saucepan. It's probably about maybe like 1 or 2 tablespoons. Hi, somebody join me? Oh, you're gone. Okay, bye. And so here's our saucepan right here. So it's covered with oil. There we go. Rats are okay as long as you're eating them correctly. So the first thing that we're going to do is throw this away. I'll be right back. Okay. And then you want to cook it probably like on medium high, but for a long time. So if you see that it starts getting a little bit too brown, turn down your heat, because to caramelize an onion properly, it takes a little bit of time. So we're going to dump all of that in there. See, it fell right on the foil there, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, and then just adding a little pinch of salt. There we go. And then probably about, I guess that's like half a tablespoon, so maybe a teaspoon of sugar you're going to sprinkle over your onions. Just like that. Because if you put the sugar in it, you know where it's coming from. So here we go. We have all of our onions down here. Sorry about the noise in the background. Hopefully you guys can still hear. There we go. So we're just going to mix all of those up. And once we have everything kind of coated with the oil and the sugar and the salt, we're going to let that sit and not touch it until the onions start to become a little bit yellow. And then once they start getting yellow, what we're going to do is add in probably about a quarter of a teaspoon of baking soda. And what that's going to do, you'll see, it's going to caramelize them really nicely and candy them up real quick. Now, while that is cooking, I have the oven set to 375, and it is going to bake our eggplant that we're going to cut up, because we need to roast our eggplant with our portabella mushrooms. So here we go. Just gonna push this down here. Oop. Hang on just a second. Okay. I've like pushed everything in my life out of the way. Hi, Freckles. It's nice to meet you. Thanks for joining. Do you like to cook? I love to cook. Okay, here we go. So here's our eggplant right here. And I'm just going to cut the top off of that because we don't need that. Maybe I need a little of it though. And you can just cut it into circles because we're going to put it in a food processor here in a little bit. So the food processor will just blend it all right up. Okay, so let's just pop that right there. And we need some olive oil. All healthy, good fats. We're just going to sprinkle a little bit of olive oil onto our eggplant. Let me see. Can you see me? Okay. And then I'm going to grab our mushrooms really quick. Okay, here are all of our washed portabella mushrooms. I'm just going to dump those out. And then let me show you. Okay. So today was a busy day. I don't know what you guys did today, but for me personally, it seems like it's never ending. I had to go to the grocery store. Oh, you went with me. We went to the grocery store like 5 times. I told you, I live at Target. How many of you guys live at Target? Any of you out there? No? Okay. All right. So we're just chopping these up. Not a big deal because remember, everything is going into a blender. Or not a blender, a food processor. After it gets roasted. So it's basically going to be all mush. And then you can eat it with pita bread or over basmati rice or brown rice if you prefer. There we go. And I hear our onions now sizzling. So let's go take a look. Oh, hi, I have people. Hi. Thanks for coming in. Okay, so our onions here are now browning. but we're still not going to touch them until they become yellow. And then once they're yellow, that's when we're going to throw in like half a teaspoon of the baking soda, and that's going to make them brown, or baking powder, I'm sorry. No, actually it's baking soda. Totally need to find that. Hold on just 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so yes, just a little bit of baking soda, and that is just going to caramelize them right up for us. So while that's cooking, we're going to go ahead and put all of our fresh veggies into the oven, which we already have preheated at 375. Okay. And then we'll let those cook until they start to brown, probably until they're about 35, 40 minutes or so. So while that's working on that, we're going to put our basmati rice in here. So I have a bag of basmati rice right here. You guys went with me to scratch earlier. Thank you. Let's sprinkle. I just eyeball it. I think my mom says it's like okay, yeah. So it's a cup of rice, 1.5 cups of water. Okay. So basically, I just kind of go like this, and then I cover it with the water. That's it. So let me just go grab the water, and I'll be right back. So you don't want to put too much because remember the water gets steamed into it. So you want it to just kind of sit in there. Okay. And basmati rice has a lot of flavor. It's good Persian rice. Now I'm going to take about, it says a tablespoon of organic butter. Throw that in there. And we're going to cover it. And then what you want to do is bring it to a boil. Once it starts boiling, you're going to turn it down to simmer. And you let that cook until all of your water is gone. So the Persian way to do it is you put vegetable oil, which I forgot, in the bottom of it. And that's called tzatziki. And so it actually kind of hardens and creates like a really lovely shell at the bottom of it. And it's super yummy. But we're just going to make some regular basmati rice now. So if you look here, our onions are starting to get yellow and clear. So that's a good sign. But we're still not going to touch them, okay? And then while that's cooking, I also have a can of garbanzo beans. And once our eggplant and everything is done, what we're going to do is add about half a can of garbanzo beans into it. And that's going to give you a lot of protein. There's a ton of protein in this, by the way, or fiber. I'm sorry. So it has 6 grams of fiber and 7 grams of protein, and only like 1 gram of sugar for half a cup. So that's a really good vegetarian option if you're trying to avoid meat and stuff. I don't necessarily try to avoid meat, or I don't really eat a lot of red meat, I guess. Sometimes I do. I love hamburgers. But you don't, I don't do a whole bunch of red meat. I do more fish and vegetables and stuff like that. So that's more of what I try to cook because it's just too heavy, and vegetables are going to keep you skinny, basically. You can eat vegetables all day and not get fat. So that's the key. And then once we have our onions caramelized, this is the secret sauce. We're just going to add some rayos into it. And this isn't pasta. This is going to be Indian food, okay? So when we get done with that, we're going to put about a tablespoon of the gram masala in it and turmeric to taste. So I say that because some turmeric is stronger than others. So let's take a look at our onions. This is probably about the perfect time to go ahead and add in some of that baking soda. So I'm just going to grab that. So probably about a tablespoon. There we go. And then if you check it out, they're just going to start to candy. And then just give it a little bit of a stir this time. And let those continue to cook. Okie dokie. So I'm going to let this cook. Whenever we are ready to mix everything all together, you want to meet me back here in about 30, 45 minutes. We'll start the rest of it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day.